Hi everyone, it's Gina. I'm going to go ahead and answer our Unit 3 questions in regards to Chapters 8 and 9 on scheduling and transportation. Where is your school in compliance with these administrative tasks and how do you know? When it comes to scheduling facilities, there's a master schedule for everything on campus, from the pool to the weight room to fields, upper and lower, tennis courts, all of that. So, with me being part of aquatics, specifically water polo, both boys and girls, we fall into the season of fall and winter. So, during those seasons, we do have priority over any other program for the aquatics facility. We do, however, share hours with swim, which doesn't go until until spring, and it is a different coaching staff. So we kind of, give and take some hours to them as far as, when they can get some hours during off season in the pool. Weight room, same thing. There's a master schedule for that. So we kind of see, where we can go from there if there's a possibility of us sharing with another program. Because our program consists of about 70 kids in the boys program and 70 girls in our winter program, we usually only take about 2 levels at a time to the weight room. So that would be Frosh, Soft, and Novice, and then Varsity and JV. So during that time, there's about 30, max is usually 35 kids in the weight room. Our weight room is a pretty decent size, so we are considered one of the smaller of the programs when we come to it being split in half. So we are able to actually double up with other sports like volleyball. We have doubled up with baseball at some points, or there is some overlap. We're not necessarily there the entire hour that the other sport is there. We might be getting in on their tail end of the last 10-15 minutes or vice versa. So the weight room, we've never come across a real problem where we'd have to share the weight room the entire hour. Because also it is on campus, our pool facility is, we do have to take in consideration the physical education class. However, the physical education classes run only periods 1 through 5, which normally we're not even there. The coaches are, because we are a walk-on coaching staff. So we are not there during periods 1 through 5, but we are there during 6 period sports, which again, our facility provides the time for our water polo players and even swimmers during their 6th period to get in additional workout going into after school hours. When it comes to officials and contest control, again, everything is brought in through our system technology-wise. We have to submit once we get the contest okayed by the athletic director and the school, that especially if we are hosting, we then put in the request for officials through the officials website where they get assigned to us. When it comes to contest control, we do have to submit a request for custodial and security. So we have to make sure we put in our budget for that. But again, everything is request. So, if we put in our request too late, we might not get security. If we put in our request too late for custodial, we might not get custodial, which means that especially with custodial, if we don't get it the date of the contest, more than likely we'll be paying that person overtime the next day, especially if it's a tournament on a Saturday, because they're going to have to do extra duty for the fact that there were, 13 to 14 schools at our site in the span of 6 to 8 hours. So they obviously will have to spend extra time in our facility cleaning up, doing their extra cleaning and everything of that sort. When it comes to transportation, Monday through Friday, if there's any contest going on during the school week, a bus is always provided to us. So we always have transportation to and from whatever site we are going to. Obviously, going to the site, our bus is filled with our 70 kids. However, coming home, there's only about a handful that return home on the bus. And that's when it comes to number 2, where is your school out of compliance with these administrative tasks? What steps can you take to resolve these issues? So one thing that we noticed that was occurring a lot last year was all the students were taking the bus, obviously, to the contest because they were leaving during, the end of 5th period or right at the beginning of 6th period to go to these contests. Now, when it came to leaving or coming home, we had 4 levels playing, which means our last level would start playing around 5:30, which means that it would end around, say, 6:30. By the time we got back on the bus, it'd be about 7:30, and depending on where we are going, would depend on how long it would take us to get back there. So we could be getting back there from anywhere between 7:45, 8 o'clock at night. So a lot of parents were signing the release form at the pool site, wherever we were, to take home their child or their student athlete after their game. Not necessarily after the entirety of the event, but specifically after their contest. So after the novice contest, after the frosh-off game, after the JV game, whatever the case was. However, it came to the point where, we were coming home with just, maybe 6, 7, 8 players, and then the coaching staff, and then all the equipment. Now, one of the things that was kind of iffy was the fact that these release forms were pre-signed by the athletic director and actually just photocopied. So the athletic director wasn't physically signing each paper that was released to us. He was signing a master copy, and we were just instructed to Xerox it and have them sign it there at the site when the parent was picking them up. And then another thing is we were never turning in those papers. I don't necessarily know what the protocol was for that. We were instructed, or I was instructed by another coach, that all we do is we keep them usually until the end of the season. Once there have been no discrepancies on any injuries or anything that happened prior to them traveling home with a parent or guardian, then we're able to discard them. So this year, I think because maybe there were a few problems, I don't necessarily know from any other program that have complained, but I know that this year we are no longer able to have those papers. So the parent or guardian must physically go to the athletic director office and request the release form from the athletic director. The parent will sign it, the athletic director will look over it, and then he will sign it. When that happens, both signatures are the original signatures, nothing's photocopied. And then from there, we get an email saying, so many of these people are being released to their parents after their contest. So we're hoping that alleviates a lot of kids just leaving just because, and stay for the remaining of the event and help support their fellow teammates in the program. We don't know how that's gone since it's still the beginning of the season, and we haven't had any away games yet. So I am curious to see how that goes, and I feel that that's in a little bit more compliance since the athletic director technically now knows every person that is going to be, or that should be, released to a parent. And not only that, but has original signatures on the release forms. As far as any other issues in regards to scheduling or transportation, I feel that my administrators are very compliant. I haven't, in 3 years that I've been at this particular program, as opposed to other programs that I've been a part of, this would actually have to rank pretty high on organization. There seems to be a lot of people with their hands in the pot. However, it's not making a huge chaos. It's actually organized chaos, as what we like to say for PE teachers is, they say 50 kids outside is, can be chaotic, but it's an organized chaos. A a lot of communications going on throughout the season, throughout the day, letting us know about facilities possibly being broken down, so that we can think of alternative practices or possibly alternative sites if a game was to happen. I feel that if an issue happens to occur, they tend to take care of it quite quickly. So it's not, we tell them something's wrong, it needs to be fixed. It happens at the end of the season. So other than that, like I said, I'm really happy with where I'm at as far as the way the process goes on requesting scheduling and transportation and any additional contest control that is needed. So that is all for Unit 3. I hope that you all have a good week, and I can't wait to see some of your posts. Have a good one.